Hello. It's been a year since our last vlog, and I think you're getting used to these longer and longer periods of time, and it doesn't mean you like it. Neither do we. We wish we could do more. I'm going to turn that a little. I think that's better. We wanted to catch up with you again because it's just given us more time to have more things happen for us to explain to you. First things first, the last video, we went to Tennessee. It was incredible. It was an amazing trip. We went camping, and Emily was pregnant with Lincoln. In November 15th, 2021, our little boy Lincoln was born, and all of his 7 pounds, 7 ounces that he was. It has been the most amazing experience to be a father. I could never ask for anything better, and I'll do a super fast slideshow near the end of this video just to show you, and I'll throw in some videos as well of Lincoln so you can see. I think some of you have already seen some of the videos and pictures I'll throw up just through Facebook and other social medias, but I figure for anyone who hasn't or is interested or new to the channel, welcome, and you can kind of catch up with us. After Lincoln was born, we had Christmas, and then in February, we took a trip to Texas. And it was incredible. We've never been before. I think Emily's driven through some of the more boring parts of it. But we landed in Dallas and took a trip down to Corpus Christi to stay with some friends that were living down there at the time, just to experience Texas because we never had it before. We went with Emily's family, and it was amazing. So while we were there, we had some questions people asked. We figured we'll answer those questions first, and then we'll kind of throw you in with the video that we made while we were there. We decided, hey, while we're in Texas, we haven't vlogged in so many months. We should make some videos here so that we have something to vlog about at a later time. And so that's what we did. So let me answer some of these questions for you, and then we'll get on into that little video. How thick were them accents? And man, I have to say, surprisingly enough, we stuck to a lot of very touristy type places. We went from Dallas down to Waco and spent some time in Waco, both on the way down and on the way back home, because we wanted to see Magnolia Farms and the silos there, a lot of Chip and Joanna's stuff. And in that is a huge tourist attraction. We didn't see a lot of native Texans there. As far as I can recall, I don't remember hearing a lot of them southern twangs. But there were some small shops here and there that we stopped at throughout the week or so that we were there, maybe 2 weeks. I don't remember how long we were there. And we did hear a little more of those southern accents coming through. But overall, I was kind of surprised. Everyone just kind of sounded like everybody else anywhere else in America. The next question says, what were some of your favorite moments from the trip? I think Emily and I agree on a lot of these to be our very shared favorite moments. One of the best days was we went through Galveston, and we had never been to Corpus Christi yet. I think we were on our way there, and we decided to take the detour, kind of the long route down Galveston to make our way that direction. And we spent the day on the beach in Galveston. It was incredible. It was so warm, so comfortable. The wind wasn't bad. The water was amazing. And we were able to go park out on the beach, which I don't get a lot of here in Oregon because you can't even get a car to the beach to begin with. And if you can, I feel like a lot of people have a problem with that. This was specifically like, hey, it's all flat, drive out there, park, unload all your picnic-like stuff, and just hang out and chill. And Lincoln, he loved it. He was still very young and new to it, so he didn't get to enjoy the sand or the water too much. We dipped his feet in the water. He was very concerned about it, so it didn't last very long. But just hanging out and relaxing, it was great. Emily and I walked miles up and down the shoreline just looking for shells and enjoying the time there. Some of our other favorite moments include hitting up NASA, and it wasn't the big bad NASA, but it was a very cool portion of it that was located out there in Texas, and touristy, but it spoke a lot into how NASA works, showed a lot of really cool things off, and it was still technically a NASA site. So it was just kind of surreal and awesome to be there and surrounded by some of the aircraft that they have there. One of our last big fun days and moments that we've really enjoyed together was one of the last days or two. We were driving back home because we landed in Dallas because we couldn't afford to land in Corpus Christi, so we had to drive all the way back up. We decided to kind of take the scenic route more west through Austin and back up. And along our way, we hit some of those classic, real Western back roads where it was just straight stretches of desert land, super flat. The sun took hours to set because it was so flat out there. It never looked like it was going to break the horizon. It was beautiful. Personally, I've always loved that little house on the prairie kind of feel and have always wanted to experience it. And that was just a little taste of what I like to see. So how cool that was, it was amazing. And it kind of ties in with one of the other questions we had, which was how did we travel with Lincoln? How was it? Was it hard? Did we have any ideas on what was best to travel with the baby? Not really. With Texas, the hardest part was no matter how far or not far we decided to drive, the minimum commute was usually an hour at least, because Texas is freaking huge. And along that, basically we had to get in the car and pray that either it lined up with a solid nap time for Lincoln, because once we were driving, he slept quite a while. And if not, if he woke up, we had to hope he wasn't going to scream his head off the whole time. We usually had one of our siblings in the back seat keeping him company and entertaining him, or Emily would jump back there to feed him if it wasn't working. But otherwise, everyone was super patient. We took time to stop and just get out of the car, stretch our legs, because Lincoln wasn't the only one sitting in a car for hours at a time during these long drives. So it was nice to take a break. Oh, and one other favorite moment of ours, I totally spaced, was San Antonio. We took a trip down to San Antonio, saw the Alamo. How amazing. It was surreal. We'll show some of that in the video as well. But it was just the coolest experience, being able to see all the history behind it and how it went from being out in the middle of this big open desert to now it's surrounded by tall, giant skyscraping city buildings. It was pretty weird, but in a cool way. I don't know. Just to be able to preserve that in the middle of a giant city was really interesting. And San Antonio itself is so beautiful. Emily and I definitely want to go back there to take their canal ride. You can kind of jump in a boat with them, and they'll have guides that take you down the canal. And I think they do it during the Christmas time even, with lights and everything. It's really cool. So anyway, along those lines, those were two just significant things. Another question we had was, what was the best food you had? And that question alone is one of the hardest questions. It's the last question, but it is one of the hardest ones because everything we had was 100 times better than here, except for KFC. That was about the same, but that was a one day on the way out. We really wanted a famous bowl while we were driving. Talk about some of the biggest portions of food for the least amount of money. Lots of meat all the time, always beef or chicken or pork or something to go with your meal. And even some incredible Italian restaurants. One of my favorite things that I did that trip, I was trying to be consistent with it to try and test what my favorite was. But every restaurant just about that we went to had mac and cheese that they served on the side of whatever meal you ordered as an option. It wasn't always that way, but I would choose it because I love mac and cheese. And I wanted to see which one was my favorite of the many restaurants we visited. And it was very rare that we went to a restaurant for lunch or dinner that didn't serve mac and cheese on the side. And one of my very, very favorites, I think, in the end, I think the place was called Smokestack. Don't quote me on that. My siblings would know better than me. But it was like a giant plate of smoked pulled pork, which was incredible. And on the side was like a smoked cheddar mac and cheese, like many cheeses. It was the best mac and cheese I've ever had, period. The only thing that comes close is my Costco frozen stuff that I bake in the oven. And even that was not near enough to compare to how good this smokestack mac and cheese was. overall, Texas was incredible. We loved every second of it, and I think you'll enjoy the video we made. Emily and I took every chance we could to pick up the camera and get little videos of Lincoln and just our experiences there because we didn't know the next time we would be going back. So please enjoy the video, and then after that, I'll give you a little tour of our new house. That was the other big event that took place right before we had Lincoln. We got into this house, and it was right on the line of, hey, if we wait another week, we won't get it because Emily's going to be on maternity leave. But hey, this room alone is recent for me, but we're going to give you a tour, so hang in there. We have board games coming up here on the wall. Our idea is that we're gonna turn this wall into a TV wall. So that TV's chilling right there is gonna hang right on that wall. We'll get a little entertainment center under it. This couch will kind of go along the floor here and it will face the TV so that we can kind of have a little viewing station. We'll have some surround sound speakers down here, and it'll be kind of our little, this is gonna be our media room, our little home theater section over here, gaming section over here, and editing section. This mattress will be gone, and we'll have that little desk moved over here next to mine. Over here, we have our table for the board games. We'll be kind of curtaining off that later. Soundproofing if we need it, lots of tools, paint stuff that we need to do before we jump too far into it. Through this room, we then come into the middle section of the first floor, ground floor basically. We have a little bit of a mess in here right now, but it's our laundry room. Technically my sisters are using this. We just use the laundry, but they have a little kitchenette set up with all of their essential cooking needs and a refrigerator. And this is our main living space. We have closets, the front door here. And when you come through the front door, you have our living room. It's a little dark in here right now. I'll kind of turn things up a little bit, but basically we have our TV, our piano, all of our movies. Wow. Our living space, it's massive, and a really cool fireplace insert, which works for the most part, except for whenever it pours smoke into our living room some days. Our kitchen, super awesome. And the thing that makes this kitchen so worth it, aside from the big ol' island, is that view. And man, it would be way better if it wasn't crazy smoky outside. But I'll give you a look at it up close. See, we have a door here and lots of tall windows. But in our living room, you can see the outline of those windows here. But we have a big old view of it and a balcony from the living room area. So basically, if I open these up, you'll see we have an awesome bench and another bench, a picnic table. We can go outside onto the balcony. And here we are with our very large view. At least 180 degrees. Don't mind all the trash that we're still working through. And this is our backyard. So basically, it goes all the way up the hill. We're about 0.72 acres out here. And then it comes down. We have a shed over here. And, septic, decks, different things like that. The whole under the deck section that I'm not going to really go look at right now because it's just too hot out here. Thank you for checking out the video, and thank you for sticking with us for so long. When we have these elongated periods of time between our videos, it can get a little boring to have to wait. So I promise we'll continue to keep pumping things out as soon as we can, but with a kid, you know how it goes. Half of you probably have experienced this. But we do ask, if you enjoyed the video, if you enjoy what we do and you want to see more of it, like the video, subscribe to us if you haven't, simple big red button at the bottom of our channel here, and then leave a comment, whatever you think, whatever you like about it or don't, or feedback, and share with your friends. That would really help to get the word out so other people can see this too. At the end of this video, I'll throw up some pictures and videos of Lincoln for you guys to see. And if you saw something at the beginning of the video, even though I never mentioned it was going to be there, it's because I changed things up last minute. I like to keep things fresh. I never really know what I'm going to do until I do it, and that just keeps everybody on their toes. I think it's an exciting way to live. So thank you again for sticking with us. We will see you next time. Peace.